I believe that every child should be trained professionally, even though they may not be a professional dancer. I believe that in having excellence at something changes your personality in life, whether you become a professional dancer or not.
I had a class that wasn't doing real well, and it was like a few weeks, a month before the workshop. And I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I have a group of kids who are really struggling. They don't know the dance, they're not working real hard. Well, she came in one Thursday night, I remember, and she was so tough on these girls and just demanded a lot out of them. And I thought, oh great, they're all gonna quit, you know. And the next week I came in and they're writing her love letters. Oh, Miss Nan, thank you so much. And I realized then, that was very early on in my teaching career, I realized then that they didn't need to be babied. They wanted, you know, they wanted me to push them.
She knew when to pull in on somebody's inner strength. She knew that when she knew when I was having a bad day, and she would come up and she wouldn't coddle you. She would make you work harder and channel that anger or that disappointment or those bad feelings into your movement and into what your body was doing.
I learned so much of how to be perfect on stage and how to look good and how to prepare beforehand, and in schools getting everything ready and the responsibility of having everything. But to me, since she didn't only reflect me in my academic and in my dance life, she also affected me in my academic life and being responsible, knowing what to expect out of myself, knowing how to be my own critic.
I was always a really shy person. Dancing gave me the opportunity to express myself without having to use words and just be able to be a part of something where I felt comfortable.
I really learned to be more precise with things, because it wasn't only about myself performing for myself, but it was about performing for her and showing her that, you know what, that rehearsal and you correcting me like this did help out and did show me that I was able to do that.
We gave up a lot, but we also got back tenfold for what we gave up. It was always something that was worth it.
There are no two children alike, and everybody does different things, and some do it very well. And being a star in the company doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a star later in life. I don't think it's so important to be a star. I think it's very important to be a survivor.
I guess all of us probably have our favorite stories about Miss Nan, and our dancers have their favorite stories, humorous and serious and moving and otherwise. And so there'll be plenty of time for sharing those after tonight. But there is one story I think that particularly is typical in some ways of Nan's approach to dancers, but in many ways with the most atypical results. I'm so glad that Gary Lennington is here tonight. He now dances with Ballet Florida. Previously, right out of high school, Gary went to Richmond Ballet. His mom, Diane Pankow, says Gary's life was changed forever by the Cuyahoga Valley Youth Ballet and Nan Klinger.
Gary was only 8 years old when he went on a field trip one day in second grade. A teacher took them to E.J. Thomas to see a ballet. And at the end of the performance, Nan got on stage and she said that she really needed boys in the company and encouraged boys to pursue the field of dance. Gary came home from school with such enthusiasm that I hadn't seen, and he was just so excited. He goes, I want to take ballet. And I said, you what? And he goes, well, there was that lady that she told me that boys could dance and I want to take ballet. And for weeks, all he talked about was every few days, did you call that lady? Did you call that lady? And I just, you know, I was living in Kent at the time. It was quite a distance to travel and I hadn't called. From that point on, he was 9, I think, when he officially started taking classes with the company, or with the CVYB, and then became a company member after that. And just really Nan was just there for him in a way, me just being a single parent, you know, and him being a very active boy, and she was almost a second mom to him. She encouraged him. She really helped him to become more focused and disciplined, and his whole heart and soul for many years has been in dance.
Well, I think one quality of Nan that I would like people to recognize and remember is that Nan cares very deeply about each and every dancer that passes through the company.
It's the truth in her approach. It's just a heartfelt desire to help these kids excel. Her own desire, I think, to want to teach and to show them the benefits of daily discipline
She has taught that anything is possible, and that when you dream something, you can make it come true if you really try and put that effort.
I guess I've discovered, as perhaps you have, that it's easy to have an argument with Nan. All you have to do is disagree with her. And it's easy to disagree with Nan. She has standards that so are often inflexible. They conflict with our standards. You know, when you say that you're going to lose 10 pounds by Easter, or we'll get our Christmas shopping done early, or yeah, you can go to the dance this weekend, but you're grounded next weekend. How often in our daily lives do our standards become malleable, flexible, accommodating? The Cuyahoga Valley Youth Ballet success might be traced to some inflexible rules that children learn at ballet. Those bright lines that establish boundaries in ballet that aren't there in life. 25 years ago, the dancers learned the rules, and 25 years later, they're still the rules today.
She has uncompromising standards of excellence. It's true for ballet. I mean, that is what is so special about ballet. The standards are so high, but yet they're very clear. You're not disappointed by them. You know from the beginning what the standards and expectations are, and you couldn't be disappointed that you don't attain them, but they've never changed. They're unwavering, and they haven't changed for hundreds of years.
It doesn't matter in life that you be great, but it's to know greatness. You know, it's to understand what it takes to have a foot that glows. That's the real key to life, is knowing greatness.